What's up, world? It's your boy Tommy Mal, and I ain't been able to really do these things how I wanted to, so I just wanted to really just get out here and speak on first and foremost the NBA Finals. Let me say this first. Congratulations to Giannis Antetokounmpo. But as per usual, a bunch of dumbass people take over dumbass narratives and just go crazy with it, right? Stephen A. Smith, I've said this. If anybody watched my videos, know that I have little to no respect for Stephen A. Smith. I think he's a shield for Michael Jordan, and really just a black man that has really no respect for himself. I mean, Stephen A. is the worst type of person. Whether you want to say he's a black man, whatever, he is the worst type of person, right? Because he has no respect for himself, and he thinks he's better than other people. So he's one of those people that kisses up and shits down. So I never really was a fan of Stephen A. Smith. But what blows my mind the most about Stephen A. Smith generally is that a lot of what he says, he says because he's trying to find ways to take shots at other people, right? Like he's talking about Kevin Durant, he's talking about LeBron. He's talking about Kevin Durant ran to another team. Like first of all, let's be honest. If Kevin Durant's Thunder played the schedule and had the injury breaks that Giannis's Bucks had, they would have a championship. If LeBron James, Cleveland Cavaliers ran into the same situation, they would have a championship. Okay? So it's retarded as hell to say, oh, well, Giannis was able to do it and he didn't need to go form up with a super team. He didn't play a super team. He played a team that had an undersized guard in Chris Paul, who literally you saw how hard it was because they kept throwing tall bodies, because they weren't just tall bodies, they were great defensively. You want to talk about it to say that Giannis didn't have a super team is retarded. If you're going to say Giannis super team didn't have a super team, then how did he play a super team? He didn't play a super team. He played a normal team, and they were a normal team. People all this time were saying that Aiden's a big three, and it's like people always get carried away with stuff. Aiden has the potential to be a big three. He is definitely not in that category at this moment because his game is too unrefined. Chris Paul played well. Devin Booker played well. DeAndre Ayton did not play well. So it made it very easy to beat him because DeAndre Ayton was in foul trouble. He was working so hard to stop Giannis. You cannot stop Giannis with just an athletic big, right? You have to have somebody who can anchor, who can body him. That's who's going to give him trouble. An athletic big is rare that you're going to find an athletic big that's going to be quick enough to stay in front of Giannis and not get in foul trouble. Aiden did the best he could, but that was not a task he was ready for at 21. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's stupid. The Suns did the best they could. I thought they did better with Kamansky in than they did with Aiden in. But that's just me. But the stupid narrative that the Bucks, that Giannis won our championship with our super team. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of shit had to go right for him to win his championship. He played a great game. Ain't nobody gonna stop that. But that was mostly not. But that's because most of the time the Suns didn't do what every other team did to Giannis, which is just camp out and force him to shoot. They wouldn't do that. And why they wouldn't do that, I don't know. They should have switched it up at some point when he started going on his roll and started just building a wall and saying we'll let anybody else but Giannis beat us. Maybe they did that because they tried that in Game 5 and Middleton and Holiday stepped up, but they didn't step up in Game 6, and they wouldn't do it. And to me, it's like the game was there to be won by the Suns. The Suns, just like I said before, they needed one extra player. They needed another player who can go out and get their own shot, who wasn't dealing with what Booker and what Booker and CP3 was dealing with. You know, it's easy to cover CP3. He's short. You just put a tall person on him that's going to affect the trajectory of the shot, and it's hard for CP3 to get a shot off. Even though he still did okay. I don't even get why people were coming down on CP3. I think he had like one bad game, and the rest of his game he played pretty well. But once again, it goes back to people who take on this Mamba mentality. Devin Booker, in my opinion, felt like Devin Booker was trying to win the game by himself. And instead of him trusting his teammates and trying to find ways to get those guys involved, he didn't. He went out there trying to beat the team all by himself, just chunking up shots. He'll score 40 points and shoot 30 shots. He turned into James Harden. And it's the same problem that that a lot of these Mamba mentality guys come up with, is they don't understand. A lot of Kobe won those championships because he had a lot of great players around him, so he was able to do that. Now Kobe turned into more of a passer, and he was able to utilize his teammate. To me, I don't think Devin Booker's gotten to that stage yet. That game, in game 5, they should have won that game. Devin Booker was the reason why they lost that game, and everybody started talking about CP3, and I thought it was asinine because I'm like, the reason they lost that game was Devin Booker. People talk about he had 40 points, he had 30 shots, and so you look at a guy like that, and to sit around there and try to blame Chris Paul because Devin Booker scored 40. Well, yeah, he was incredibly inefficient, and you saw what happened when his shot value went down, but his efficiency didn't go up. Last night he had 19 points. I think he had like 19 shots because that's what that Mamba mentality does. That Jordan Mamba mentality, I'm going to win it. Y'all get out of the way and let me win the ball game. Turns into you shooting a bunch of bad shots. Your teammates staying cold, and they're not there to help you when the time comes. They should have taken the ball out of his hand and started running it through Chris Paul. They tell my Cameron Payne, about you slowing the pace down. Stupid. Right? It was stupid. The Suns were clearly in control of the game when Chris Paul was running the point and they were slowing it down. But instead, more and more, they start trying to put Cameron Payne in there so he can run full speed now and run into a turnover. And when Devin Booker had the ball, just ISO. He was making mistake after mistake after mistake, and they just were. And to me, the reason why they lost the series was Devin Booker turned into James Harden. Incredibly inefficient games, and they were giving him credit because he was scoring points. This was his chance to win a championship in Phoenix. He lost it because he wanted MVP, and he started chunking up crazy amounts of shots. Bad, inefficient shots. His three hasn't been falling all game. He had a wide open 3-2 this game to seal the game, to keep them in the game. The game before that, he had another shot. And it's like, why this day and age they want to take a 3 over taking a 2? I don't know. But their shots look more efficient than they are because they shoot so many of them. And when you see CP3 lose out on a championship, and really I felt like it was taken out of his hand. He had 13 points in the first half. Second half, they ran a whole offense through Devin Booker, and it looked like chaos and a massacre. It was bad, and that's why I tell people, whenever you look up these people with this Mamba mentality, they're usually younger than Kobe, and there's a selfish streak in them. It's like the same thing that allows them to score 40 points is not their immense talent. The thing that allows them to score that many points is their ability to just block out everybody and be egotistical enough to believe that regardless of how bad they're shooting, they should keep going. You got to be a pretty selfish person to be sitting up there 5 or 15 and continue to keep shooting, right? They should have been running that more through Chris Paul and getting DeAndre Ayton more balls around the rim so that you can put Giannis in foul trouble. Instead, they'll run an ISO with Devin Booker, with him against everybody, and most of the time they didn't even have to double him. They just put Middleton on him, or they put Drew Holiday on him. And two of the best defenders in the playoffs, if not the league, and they never had to double him. So they never had to double him, and even if they did double him, did you see that play when he ended up losing the ball in the game 5? He lost the ball because he ran into a three. They just basically dared him to shoot, dared him to pass it, and he refused to pass it. So he ran into a triple team, which ended up getting the ball stolen, and they had to pass and ended up losing them the game. Instead of him just finding the open man, he didn't look for the open man. He had that mama mentality. If we lose, I'm gonna make a shot. Win or lose, it's on me. And he went and ran into a triple coverage, a triple team, and so he's sitting up there doing this. Drew Holiday comes in, snatches the ball because he's trying to take on 3 players. So anybody to be blamed for the Suns losing, it's Devin Booker. It was not Chris Paul, and the whole mindset that Chris Paul choked. That was not Chris Paul. Averaged 20. Right? I don't get this mindset that Chris Paul choked. Chris Paul was never the one that was leading that team in points. He was always the person who gave them the points when they needed it. And he showed up today just like he shows up every time they need him to give them the points. Now, did he have a great game in game, I think, 3? No. He played a bad game. But that was the only bad game he played this series. The first 2 games, they were talking about him winning MVP. He had the one bad game, and then he had a so-so game. Then the last 2 games, he's been playing great again. But they need a narrative. So it's like, oh, Chris Paul. No, it had nothing to do with Chris Paul. Chris Paul contributed what he was supposed to contribute. Devin Booker went out there trying to be Kobe and ended up messing the whole series up, and the Suns had a gimme championship taken right out of their hands because you got one guy chunking up 100 shots, trying to beat Kobe, and that's what I tell people. Focus on the narrative. Now the narrative is Giannis can win a championship without a super team. If you want to take that bullshit narrative, let him win another one. How about this? Let him win another one without a super team. Then we can talk shit. Okay? Let him win another championship where everybody in the damn NBA ain't hurt. Because we all know the Suns wouldn't have made it out the first round if Anthony Davis hadn't got hurt. They wouldn't have made it out the first round. DeAndre Ayton could not guard Anthony Davis. The same situation he was having with Giannis, he was having with Anthony Davis. The only difference is Anthony Davis can consistently hit the mid-range, can consistently hit a 3. Even though the 3 ain't really been falling, but he definitely can consistently hit a mid-range, a turnaround, take you. If you couldn't stop Giannis, how the hell are you going to stop Anthony Davis? You know what I'm saying? And Anthony Davis can slow Giannis down. LeBron can slow Giannis down. They forced Giannis to shoot a 3 because he's not big enough to outpower LeBron and AD. So I mean, the mindset that the Lakers wouldn't have won a championship. I mean, we ain't even talking about if the Clippers was really supposed to beat the Suns if Kawhi Leonard doesn't go down. Right? So if Kawhi Leonard doesn't go down, they don't even play. The Suns ain't even at a championship. So, am I trying to say that that Giannis don't deserve immense amount of credit for what he did? Yes, nobody's taking away from what Giannis did. He won a championship. Good for him, and he did it under some hard circumstances. But let's not forget, they won 2 games. I think they won 2 games without him even playing. At least one game, or a closeout game, without him even playing in the game. Not the closeout game, but the game before the closeout game, they won. He didn't even play. So it's hard to say Giannis won a championship without a super team when the team he was on probably would have made it to the championship game if he was on, whether he was on the team or not. They beat the Atlanta Hawks. They beat the Nets with no Kyrie and a hurt James Harden. The Atlanta Hawks. It's not exactly the most demanding playoff run. You know what I mean? So let's put stuff in context. This is now Giannis' league. If you think Giannis Antetokounmpo is better than Kevin Durant, have fun. He will never win another championship with that team. Okay? They barely beat the Suns. Do you think they're beating LeBron James Chris Paul at 6'8", 260 pounds, DeAndre Ayton can't guard Greek feet, but you think he would have guarded AD? You saw what AD was doing to him before he got hurt. The Lakers were pouring them out, playing around with them. And this is LeBron after LeBron missed half of the season hurt. But you think he winning a championship next year with that team? No, he's not. But the narrative is funny how the ball bounces one or two different ways and the whole narrative changes. Oh, Giannis stuck through it and he persevered. No, if everybody was injured, everybody would be talking about Giannis leaving the Bucks this year. There would be more pressure on him to leave the Bucks. Now everybody trying to act like it was a valiant thing that he stayed on the Bucks. Yes, he was able to sneak in a championship. And then the most important thing that I feel like idiots forget is he's 26. Like the whole mindset that Giannis stuck it out. He's 26. What hell did he stick out? They were horrible. He wasn't even a good player until about 3 seasons ago. Now all of a sudden he wasn't even like a big all-star, you know what I'm saying, or big name until like 3 seasons ago. Now all of a sudden he stuck it out. He didn't stick shit out. He's 26 years old. Nobody leaves after their first contract. So when was he supposed to leave? Kevin Durant gave their team 7 years. LeBron gave his team 7 years. All of them did the same thing Giannis Antetokounmpo did. Only difference in the situation is Giannis was able to sneak in and get a championship because the ball rolled in his favor. And that is a good thing. Nobody's trying to take you away from it. But let's not switch the narrative to some dumb shit like, oh, Giannis stuck it out. He didn't stick shit out. He's 26 years old and he's still under his first he's still under his first extension. You'll be a moron to leave after that. Nobody leaves after that because of the money. So to sit up there and try to say that Giannis somehow is some redeemer of the NBA and the conqueror of Superteam, cut that shit out. Like that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. He like I said, just applaud the man and don't bring undue hate onto the man over some bullshit narrative that y'all trying to do so y'all can write a good story. Because the shit makes no sense whatsoever. But anyway, y'all comment. Let me know what y'all think. Thumbs it up if you like it. And please subscribe. All right, y'all. Peace.